Hey, this is India with Bags and Lifestyle. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Sorry, excuse little things sticking out. Today is wash day, but we are not washing our hair today. And I have to record a video on a wash day. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be talking about the real. So there's two things I wanted to do here today. So first off, let's get the first one out the way, which is if you have not noticed or heard the news, thank you to Closet Full of Cash, because I saw it on their Instagram post first. But then after that, the Business of Fashion has a article, which I'll link down below if you want to read it. But the real is having a little bit of trouble. So I know there's been some things where people have blamed the company for selling items that have been identified as not authentic and things like that, people have said. And I know people have different opinions about the real, but overall, just wanted to give you some news about them, which unfortunately they are having to lay off 230 employees. So anytime one person loses their income, it is sad, because that's how people pay their bills. So unfortunately, they are going to be laying off staff or have already laid off staff. It's going to end up being about 7% of its workforce. They are closing some of their stores. One of them being the one that's in the Atlanta metro area. That one is being closed, or actually is already closed. So we lost our store. San Francisco will close. Chicago and Austin. So those are the stores that are going to be closing, or actually have already closed. And it looks like there's also some offices. So there's 2 consignment offices in New York City and San Francisco. So it looks like they're going to be closing 2 of those, as well as consolidating workspace. So definitely right now, the real is going through some, financial troubles, according to this article from the Business of Fashion. So just wanted to share that information with you. So related to this video, I thought I'd couple it together since I happened to find out that news is going to be now moving forward. We're going to be talking about my experience with consigning with the real. So it is a really large online platform. I believe it started online and then they expanded to stores, if I'm not mistaken. Someone comment down below if I've gotten that wrong. It looks like they're actually kind of moving a little bit backwards, I guess, and closing some stores, so they're reducing some of their footprint in brick and mortar, and they're continuing to operate online, basically. So I want to talk about my experience, in case you are wondering, in case you're interested in it. I have purchased from the real a few times. I'm one of those people where there are certain things I'm willing to purchase from the real, and then there's other things where I will go to other consignment stores to purchase them, because I just feel more comfortable with those brands, with those companies, is pretty much how I feel with it. So yeah, those are my thoughts. But anyway, so my experience with the real, I did have someone reach out to me, and it actually was out of the blue. It was the first time that someone had reached out to me with the real, even though I think I've reached out to them before one time some years ago to sell items. So I don't know if it was an effort to try to increase sales, or whether they were just going through their database or what have you, but someone contacted me from the Atlanta store. I set up a virtual appointment, so that was really simple and easy. Now you can do an in-person appointment if they have an office in your city, or you can do it virtually. So we just met through Zoom. So a couple of days before the appointment, that person that I spoke with did ask me to send a list of items, not exactly a list, but basically just the brands and a rough estimate of the number of items I would be consigning, so that way he could prepare. So I did send him brands that I would be consigning, as well as the number, which I decided to consign. I had 10 items that were potential items that I was going to consign with them. So the meeting with them was set up, and like I said, it was through Zoom. It was really quick. So really all I had to do was announce what I had. So if it was like a Louis Vuitton Alma, I wouldn't say even Louis Vuitton Alma. I just held it up, I think, and I said Louis Vuitton. And he took a really quick snapshot of it, and then we moved on to the next one. It was just a front shot. It wasn't even like a detailed kind of product type of photo where you would see the inside and all the imperfections and anything like that. It was more so, it seemed like more just a catalog, the items that I was going to be sending through their concierge service. So all in all, the meeting took about 5 minutes total to get the photos and for him to get the photos, and then from there. So within an hour to 2 hours after we met, I had gotten an email from him stating which items they would accept. So from there, I had 10 items. I consigned 9. So one item they did not accept. I was kind of thinking it was a shot in the dark, but it was because of it's a brand that is not as well known. So of course they're trying to make money. So if people aren't looking for it, they kind of don't want it. Basically. So that was a really quick process. And then one thing that I did not know, so definitely letting you guys know in case you're interested or going to do this service. Obviously, that's why we're doing this video. That is why we're doing this video today. So is the concierge person that will come pick up your items does have a bag to put them in. I did not know that. I was trying to be prepared. So I had a big box, a cardboard box that I didn't have anything in, and I put all my items in there just in case. I wanted to make sure. So some things to note, which were some questions that I had for him, were ownership of items, because I have consigned locally before. I will link those videos down below because I have done 2 other consignment videos that may be interesting to you. Obviously, if you're watching this one, you're probably interested in that. So check out those. Anyway, so with basically the ownership of them. So I like the setting that they have, which is as soon as they are in the items that the Real Real is picking up is in their possession, they are theirs. Even though it's a consignment situation where basically I don't get paid out until the Real Real sells them. So it's basically I'm loaning them to them. Real Real takes responsibility and ownership of them. So if anything happens in the middle of transport or in the process of them being in their possession, they will give me a payout of the percentage I was supposed to get if the item would have sold from a person. So I do like that. That is something different that was not offered to me from my local consignment store. And I don't know if all consignment stores, I can't talk right now, operate that way. And so that is something to know. Make sure you ask questions. So that's something that I thought was at least a good thing. Now, I don't know whether that percentage, like for example, if it's in transit, and let's say that item could have retailed for $300 in pristine condition, but in fair condition, it only can sell for $150, whether they would have given me the optimum number, you know, or the perfect condition, even though they didn't know whether it was in perfect condition or whether they're just going to give me like kind of the lowest number they can give me to pay it out. So that is something where we didn't talk about it in that level of detail, but he did say they would be responsible for it. So I at least think that part is a good thing, is that they will basically pay me out if something happens to my item in transport or while it's in their possession. All right, so let's go through the whole process, and then I'll talk about kind of the payouts amount or like kind of the tiers of it. So very good with communication, very easy overall. You heard that the process was quick. We did it virtually, so that's nice. So if there's not a Real Real in your city, then you can virtually do it and have the items shipped to them, which is really good. Next up is, I told you about really quickly after our meeting. So within 2 hours, they gave me the items that they were going to take. It didn't have prices on it. And I watched somebody's video and they were selling an Hermes bag. So obviously the situation is different. I wasn't giving them anything that was worth that much money. So I don't know whether, well, I do know that they couldn't tell me pricing until they got the items, authenticated them, and decided what they could sell them for, basically based off of the condition. So I didn't know numbers. So basically you are sending them out like a local consignment store would be. They don't really clear up prices with you then as well. So similar situation. I got an email, and they do a great job of sending you emails along the way. So you do need to set up your account online, and that way you can see your items and the progress of them. They will send you email. So I got an email at some point during the day when my items were in transit. I got an email. I got an email when they arrived. I got an email when they were processing. I got an email when they were photographed. I got an email when they were live on the site. So they do a really good job of giving you updates along the way. So out of the 9 items, all of them did not get processed at the same time. All of them did not get photographed and were live on the site at the same time. So it was different, just different timing of whoever was looking over my item, doing their processing of it, and then them getting it up live. So that kind of was a different timing for each thing, just depending on who had my item, I guess, and how long it took to process it through. The items that took longer to process were Burberry and Louis Vuitton. The 2 items that I had 2 items with Louis Vuitton, I had a 1 Burberry bag. Both of those took longer, I feel like, than the other ones to process through. But if you have items that are not necessarily kind of those big name ones like LV, YSL, Louis Vuitton, like you have Coach, or you have, for example, I did Rebecca Minkoff. I consigned Bagley Mishka. I consigned also somebody else. Was it Nina Ricci? No. Somebody. But basically, I do like that the Real has a lot more appetite, I guess is what I would say, for the brands that they will take. Whereas I've seen with other stores, like, nothing wrong with it, but you know, everybody's company's different, everybody's business strategy is different. Where like places like Fashion File or maybe like Yogi's Closet or somewhere like that are well known for the luxury items too. There are some brands that I knew I couldn't send to them, but I figured that the Real would probably take them. So if you're in that boat where you have some that are not the ones that everybody's screaming about, but it is a designer brand, it's a luxury good, a contemporary brand, try out the Real. Now, going out through the payout, let me talk about that. I'm going to grab my computer here for a second so I can talk about the payout. Now, the payouts are not that great. I feel like locally I got a better payout, but there are reasons why you would go to a larger one than a smaller one, so definitely take that in mind. Or take that into consideration. And like I mentioned, I got 2 videos on that down below, so check that out in the description box. But here is the tiers or the payout amount. So you will get anything that's $99 or below, you get 20%. That's pretty low, but that's what it is. Then for anything $100 to $149, you get 30%. $150 to $199, you get 45%. $200 to $299, 55%. $300 to $749, you get 60%. $750 to $5,000 is 65%, and then $5,000 and above you get 70%. So obviously the encouragement is send us more expensive items. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but if you want to make more of a payout, send them more expensive items is what I'm taking from that. So overall, to date, the items that have sold. So one thing that I noticed is that they are pretty aggressive with their discount strategy. Remember, they're in their possession, so you got to roll with the punches and go with what they decide to do with your pricing. So even though something starts at one price, if it doesn't sell within that window, Real is aggressively discounting the price, which is what a lot of consignment stores do. I find that Real drops the prices quicker than other places that I've consigned before. So you should see some screenshots showing up here. So one of the ones that you will see, there were a pair of men's Prada Sport loafers. Started them at $85. They discounted them to 20% below that, so $68. So they were received on 1/11. It doesn't say what day they went live, but I feel like they were on the site for 2 weeks and then got discounted to 20%. And you can see there my commission rate was 20%, which I only got $14 for those. And then the Nina Ricci. So I did have a Nina Ricci item. Nina Ricci, which is a luxury brand, but it's not as well known or not as, popular out there with the people as other brands are. But Nina Ricci had so that one was priced at $175, and that one sold, and luckily it sold before it was discounted, so I got $79 from that. And then you can see here the Marc Jacobs Q, I think is what it's called, or something like that. Bag sold for $115, but only got $35. So it's really small nuggets when you are selling items that are not priced at a certain point. But the nice thing is that you can go on there and you can see, the status of your items. They still send you emails. When items sell, they will send you an email. I've noticed that one day I did check my account and I just happened to make a sale. I would say 2 days later is when I actually got the email notifying me of that item that sold. So it is a little bit of a processing or maybe delayed time, probably through their email automation, that it doesn't get sent out. So if you want to see the latest and greatest, I would say go to your account versus relying on your email, because it could be a couple of days behind with the email. So they do automatically just transfer that, wire that money to you. So I did already get my first payout for the lot of items that sold by their cutoff period. And then I'm waiting for my next payout during the next payout period, because I've had several other items sell. So far at this point, if I look at it, I start, as you can see from the dates that were on there, I initially handed off the items to them in early January. So we'll say January 11th is when they received them. And I'm recording this video as of February 18th. And at this point, I have sold, 4 out of my 9 items have sold. So the items that are still hanging out and partying with the Real Real is my Louis Vuitton, my vintage Alma PM. That one's still hanging out there. It's been discounted 20% at this point. So it's only been discounted one time, but obviously it's an LV piece. A lot of people have Almas, so I don't know. It may not sell. Hopefully it does, obviously, because I don't want it back. That's why I consigned it. So hopefully it sells, but that is very competitive. So we'll see what happens. And then my other item that I have is my LV pochette. It's like this leather pouch. That one's still hanging out there. It has been discounted to 20%. So we'll see. Those both have been active for about 20-something days. So we'll see. My other items, let's see, Stuart Weitzman shoes are still out there. They're so cute, but they're uncomfortable. And Rebecca Minkoff bag is still hanging out there with them, and the pair of Bagley Mishka shoes. So we'll see what happens with those two. My Burberry bag did sell, and that is what I'm weighing out. It looks like that's what I'm weighing out payout on, as well as one other item that's sold. So yeah, that is kind of the overall process of the Real Real. So definitely, you got to weigh your pros and cons. The payouts, like I said, do vary. They are a little bit not in the favor of the consigner with the Real Real when you're selling below a certain price point. So just know that and make that decision on whether you want to sell it yourself and be able to get more of a profit, or you want to send it to a local consignment store and have them do it for you. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.